Ya se despedía. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. I hope your day and your week have been going very well so far. This is Clash of the Titans, the video series here at Guy Boston Sports, where I go through each and every single ranked on ranked matchup throughout the entire college football season, giving you deeper insight, deeper analysis, but more importantly, more picks for each of these big-time pivotal matchups. For today's video, we're covering number 21 ranked USC, going on the road, taking on number 23 ranked Illinois in a Big Ten showdown. And as always, guys, I've got some really great picks to go ahead and share with you. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. Seriously, guys, make sure to go ahead and subscribe. We have a ton of great content coming out on the channel all week long, every single week. This is one of 4 Clash of the Titans videos dropping this week. We have a ton of great ranked matchups, including, to highlight a couple, Oregon, Penn State, Alabama, Georgia, this game, and another game I can't remember off the top of my head. But a ton of great ranked matchups, as well as our full Week 5 college football pick slate. So all that will be coming out during this week, so make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. With that out of the way, guys, let's go ahead and talk about number 21 ranked USC, taking on number 23 ranked Illinois. All right, guys, number 23 ranked Illinois hosting number 21 ranked USC here, 12 p.m. kickoff on Saturday. My first official pick in today's video, one of 3 picks I'm going to hand out in today's video, is USC on the spread minus 5.5. We'll jump over to the outlier screen to go ahead and show you guys the pick. Minus 5.5 UNC. We're grabbing that for minus 130 over on FanDuel. However, you can find this line at a couple of different sports books for varying odds. As always, guys, make sure to go ahead and shop around for the best sportsbook odds available to you. Now, one thing to note right off the back is the crazy line movement in this game. It's understandable, but it's still crazy to highlight. A week ago, this line was 1.5 in the favor of USC. They were only 1.5 point favorites. Over the last week, we've seen this line jump from 1.5 to 7.5, as high as 7.5. It's now come down a little bit to 6.5 as people are starting to take Illinois plus 7.5. It's brought the line back down 1. But you have seen some crazy line movement here. Now, obviously, this line movement is in major part due to Illinois' embarrassing loss last week to Indiana. Full transparency, I did pick Illinois in that spot last week against the Hoosiers. I thought Illinois would put up more of a fight. I took them on the spread plus 7.5. They got absolutely murdered in that game. So that's really the big reason here. Also, USC, big win against Michigan State last week, their most impressive win of the season thus far. So all of those things kind of add to that line movement. Now, I am buying a point off of this. The actual line is 6.5. I'm taking it down to 5.5. If you watched my videos before, you know I do that a lot. That extra point sometimes can mean a world of difference in these spots. USC has been the better team. Now, again, I was all over Illinois last week. I still think Illinois is a solid team. I think they deserve to be a ranked team, but I think this team got exposed a little bit last week. There are some deeper issues than even I saw with Illinois. Let's talk about USC before we talk about some of the negative reasons as to why I am fading Illinois in this spot. First and foremost, USC, their offense has been incredible. Now, I will mention off the top, they haven't played the toughest of competition. Like I said, that Michigan State game last week was by far their toughest opponent. Besides that, you've got Purdue and a couple other lower tier teams. Now, USC, they're 2-2 against the spread. However, they've covered this line of 5.5 in all 4 games this season. Their passing offense has been unbelievable. 6th best scoring offense in the nation. They are 11th in college football in passing yards per game, 331.5. They also have a very strong running game, which has been a nice surprise from Lincoln Riley this year. One of the things that people were questioning was how this run game was going to be, and the run game honestly has been very, very solid. So a pretty good offensive start, to say the least, for USC. Number 1 in yards per play right now in college football. Very efficient across the board. Jade Mayava, the quarterback for USC, has been incredible this year. And to parlay that with a great offense, USC also has a very strong defense, specifically their pass rush. They're tied for 2nd right now in college football for sacks per game and tied for 4th in college football for QB hits per game, tied for 2nd in tackles for loss. So this is a very potent pass rush. They can get to the quarterback. They can get to the running back behind the line of scrimmage. There's a very strong USC pass rush, which is added to the strength of this team. We knew they were going to be good offensively. They've been even better defensively than we could have possibly imagined. It's been a long road for USC. Go back to the last year of Caleb Williams, how bad that defense was to where they are now. Very nice progress there, and that's Lincoln Riley. The recruiting, the coaching, all that stuff has been very, very strong. So a lot of reasons to like USC here. They've been very strong offensively, a great quarterback in Jordan Maiava. They have maybe the best wide receiver in the nation right now, Mekhi Lemon. A lot of great stuff to like here with USC. And again, that pass rush just kind of adds to the reasons to like USC here. Looking at the Illinois side of things, I do think Illinois is going to play better in this game. They're not going to get blown out like they were last week. This is still a very strong Illinois team. I still have faith in them that they're going to go ahead and turn their season around despite that embarrassing loss to Indiana. My problem here, and the reason why I'm still picking USC despite the fact that I do believe Illinois will play much better this week than they did last week. When a team gets embarrassed like that, the good ones, and I do think Illinois is a good one. They have a good head coach in Brett Bielema, a good quarterback in Luke Altmaier. They're going to go ahead, they're going to look at the film, they're going to make adjustments, they're going to come back in this game, and they're going to have a fire under their asses following a loss like that. They got whooped and embarrassed, and now they're coming home to take on a USC team. A very good chance to go back and prove yourselves after the Indiana loss. However, they have some legitimate issues on this offensive line. You saw it in the Indiana game. You kind of saw it in the Duke game, but Luke Altmaier, being Luke Altmaier, was able to kind of overcome some of those issues in the Duke game. Indiana, not so much. Their offensive line, specifically their pass blocking, has been a major problem. And going up against a USC pass rush that's one of the best pass rushes right now in college football, not exactly what you want to see if you're Illinois coming off that Indiana game. That's a big concern here. They are going to be able to get to Luke Altmaier, rush the quarterback. Now, he does release the ball very quickly, but even against this USC pass rush, I could see Altmaier struggling similarly to how he did last week versus Indiana. Not as bad. I think he'll be better, but this USC pass rush could put some pressure on him for sure. And then the other key thing here for Illinois is the fact that their pass defense has some major injuries right now. And again, you saw that kind of rear its ugly head last week against Indiana. I don't know if it's going to be much better here against USC. Look at the ranks for Illinois right now defensively. This is a strong physical defense, but again, last week really hurt their numbers. They're tied for 69th. We'll go ahead and pause for applause. Tied for 69th in the nation passing yards allowed per game. Again, last week definitely skews the numbers a little bit. Rushing yards allowed per game, 65th. Tied for 85th yards per play. You look at all these marks, this team ranks outside the top 60 in a lot of key areas here. Now, they do have a pretty strong pass rush. The problem is USC, pretty strong offensive line play for the most part. So I do like USC a lot in this spot. I just think Illinois, which is still, again, I'll say it one more time, I think they're still a solid team. I just think there's a couple glaring points here. The pass blocking has been a problem. Not very good when you're playing USC. And then the secondary has some injuries, and it obviously looked very bad last week versus Indiana. Again, not good when you're playing Jaden Maiava in this USC passing offense. I do think this is going to be a little bit of a sweat. Again, I do think that Illinois will keep this game closer than people think. But I think USC, if it's 5.5, they should be able to win this game by 6. I do think USC is definitely winning this game. It's a matter of by how much. I do think they should be able to cover at 5.5. I think once you get to the 7.5 range, that's when it starts to get a little more dicey. Because Illinois does have some advantages here. First and foremost, they're home, right? Home field advantage, obviously very big here. USC has struggled on the road of late, and in this sort of earlier time window, playing at the 12 p.m. time slot, which in California is basically 9 a.m., based off time region zones, right? This is an early game technically for USC. They have struggled traditionally in this spot over the last couple of years. So there are a couple of betting trends that do favor Illinois here, but ultimately, I just think USC, Brett Bielema is a great coach, but I think Lincoln Riley is the better coach. I think they have the better quarterback, not by much. Luke Altmaier is still a very good quarterback. It might even be crazy to say that Jaden Maiava is better. I think he's been playing better than Luke Altmaier, but obviously those are two very, very strong quarterbacks. I just think that USC is trending in the right direction. Illinois, after the Indiana loss, sort of trending in the wrong direction. So USC minus 5.5 for minus 130. It's our first pick in today's video. By the way, guys, comment down below who you think is going to win this matchup between USC and Illinois. Comment which team you like down below in the comment section. As always, guys, we appreciate those who watch through each and every single video here on the channel. All right, guys, our second pick in today's video, we're going with the total here, over 58.5 against, with USC Illinois. I apologize, guys. It's still early in the morning here as I'm recording this. Stumbling over my words a little bit. The over 58.5, which is minus 120 over on FanDuel, is what I'm grabbing it for. Now, I think there's going to be some points scored in this game. Obviously, like I mentioned at the top of my first pick, I think USC is going to be able to move the ball and score some points in this matchup. So I think USC will do a lot of the heavy lifting. But again, I think Illinois' offense will be much better. They only scored 10 points last week versus Indiana, which isn't great. But if we look at the right side of the screen here, looking at USC's defense, yes, they have a very strong pass rush, but they're not like this great defensive masterpiece, right? Tied for 53rd in scoring defense, giving up 20.2 points per game. You look at who they played. Again, USC, not the toughest schedule in the world, okay? So they're giving up a decent amount of points. Michigan State last week scored 31 points. I think Illinois' offense is better than Michigan State's offense. So Illinois should be able to get somewhere close to that production. I'm thinking that Illinois scores between 24 and 30 points in this game. And if that's going to happen, and I do believe USC will win, I think USC is going to score 30 plus. I think this game could very well be something in the ballpark of 38-31 USC, or 38, 30, something along those lines, which obviously I know those are cutting it pretty close to that total. I'm just really hoping that USC will score over 35 points. Illinois will score in the ballpark of 30, and we'll get our total there. Their pass rush is strong, but Luke Altmaier is very good, and I think Illinois' offense will be fired up. They will score more points. I just ultimately don't think Illinois' defense will be able to stop the passing offense and also the running offense, if we're being honest, of USC. I see a lot of points being scored in this game. The over has cashed in 3 of USC's 4 games. They have had naturally high-scoring games. Only one game of their 4 has had a total less than 76 points, and that was the USC-Purdue game. So a lot of high-scoring games. For Illinois, not as extreme. You do see this line of 58.5 that's cashed in 2 of the 4 games. Again, 3 of the 4 for USC. So this over has cashed. Obviously, the last game, whoop, camera just moved on me there. Microphone moved on me there, I should say. But you look at Illinois, I mean, the Indiana game, obviously Indiana covered this line by themselves last week. But even the Duke game, like that was a high-scoring game. So Illinois is not opposed to higher-scoring matchups. I think this is a pretty good spot to go ahead and tail the over. These are 2 defenses that have some strengths, but have some clear weaknesses, and 2 offenses I think that are very, very strong with some great quarterback play. So I think you're going to see a lot of points scored. The over 58.5 to me is the right play. If you don't love this, consider the USC team total over then, because I do think USC will score a healthy amount of points in this spot. All right, guys, real quick, before we finish off with our 3rd and final pick in today's video, I want to talk to you guys real quick about Epic Fantasy, the sponsor of today's video. Epic Fantasy is a new DFS fantasy app that is going to absolutely dominate the game. If you like player props, this right here is a great place to play. They offer better lines and better payouts than the competition out there. And that is just within their pick-em mode, in which you pick more or less based on the player stats. Okay, the real unique thing about Epic is the fact that you can actually go into the fade 'em section and fade other players' entries. Yes, that is right. Even if they get one part of their entry wrong, you walk home with the bag. Go try Epic today. Use code GUYBOSS and they'll match your first deposit up to $50. The link will be down below in the description as well as in the pinned comment. Shout out to Epic for sponsoring today's video, and let's get back to the show with our final pick. All right, guys, our 3rd and final pick in today's video. We're finishing up with a player prop here. I'm going with Luke Altmaier over 1.5 touchdown passes, which I'm grabbing for plus 116 over on FanDuel. So a nice little plus money play. Pretty good numbers, honestly, this year. He's cashed the over in 3 of 4 games this season, averaging 2.25 touchdown passes per game. Obviously, last week versus Indiana, only 1 touchdown pass in that game. Kind of piggybacking off of everything I've already said in this video, not to keep repeating myself over and over, but I do think Illinois will bounce back. I think their offense will play much better in this spot, although I do think USC will still take care of business. I think that Illinois will pour some points on. And honestly, this is not a bad matchup. We saw already USC scoring defense. We know they're not the most elite defense, but also look at this number up here. This is the numbers for USC's passing touchdowns allowed against them. Right now, they actually rank pretty low. They give up 2 touchdown passes per game, which obviously is very good for us. Outliers telling us is a pretty favorable matchup. We look down below here, Illinois, USC, the touchdown passes allowed the last game versus Michigan State. Aiden Childs from Michigan State had 3 touchdown passes last week. Ryan Brown for Purdue only had 1, to be fair. I do think Luke Altmaier is in a very different tier in terms of quarterback play compared to Ryan Brown. So it's a pretty good spot. Like I said, they're giving up a decent number of touchdown passes per game. We saw last week Michigan State's quarterback threw 3. I don't see why Luke Altmaier can't throw 2. He did it in the first 3 games of the season. Yes, he only threw 1 last week, but he still threw 1. For plus 116, honestly, guys, this is incredible value. So go ahead and take this player prop here as the final pick in today's video. Guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. One more time, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and drop a comment down below. We'll be back with some more Clash of the Titans videos this week. We got 3 more of them coming out this week with some really good ranked on ranked matchups. Until then, guys, I hope you're all winners. Enjoy your week. More importantly, let's go ahead and make some money, baby. Let's go.